Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be going over a little bit of Pat McGrath and Star Wars. I have to let you guys know ahead of time if I'm sounding a little nasally. I am sick again because Tennessee likes to do this thing where it's 70 degrees and then it's snow on the ground. It's actually a saying here, you don't like the weather, stay another day, but for me, the back and forth just really gets to me, so I apologize if this is annoying. I can't help it. Anyway, getting back to the palettes. I have the two mini palettes. I'm going to do a look with both of them. I'm also going to be doing comparisons because there are duplicates in here, as well as some shades that can be comparable to other shades in other palettes. So I'm going to give you guys the full rundown. But I do not have the Decadence palette, which I do have the original. However, I do have a fun little story and a little rant that I'm sure a lot of you guys have as well when it comes to that palette. But we will get into that. First, I want to give you guys the swatches and information on both of these palettes, and then I will get into the eye looks, and then we will get into what I need to talk about as well as the comparisons. There's two mini palettes, the Dark Galaxy, which I just keep describing as the red palette, and then the Galactic Gold, which the gold palette. Each of these are limited edition. They are in collaboration with Star Wars, the recent release of their new movie. I believe that came out on the 19th. I know my husband was really excited about it. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. I do like some of the movies, and then some of them I'm just like, man, I don't know. But I really wanted this packaging, and I really wanted the Decadence. Even though I already have it, it is I'm going to show you a picture of it right now. This released on the 26th. It's the re-release of the Decadence palette. It's $125. However, it has new packaging, and I just thought this packaging was so beautiful, and I don't know what I'm going to do about missing out on it. But anywho, back to these. Each of these retail for $65, limited edition, and I'm going to go ahead and get into the Galactic Gold palette first. I love the packaging on these. I hope that she continues this, because if you're familiar with her other mini palettes, like this one right here, this is the Metamorphosis. You have the tie enclosure up front, and then you have to open this up right here like an envelope, and then you have the mirror, and then it's kind of like this, which it's never bothered me. I like the packaging, but I like how she has done this much better, because I just think it's a little bit sleeker. You just open it. There's no fold over or anything like that, but the palette is still inlaid inside when you do get the mirror. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the swatches of this palette. Actually, before I do, I just want to point this out, because I usually read from my phone instead of the palette in of itself whenever I'm doing the swatches. And I'm seeing on this picture, which I'm going to insert right now, the very first shade says Celestial Moon, but in the palette it says Galactic Gold. So I don't know what's up with that. Anywho, for the swatches, we have Galactic Gold, Bronze, Violet Void, Corruption, Electron, and Gold Standard. In case you didn't notice, this palette does have 3 repeat shades that are in other palettes: Corruption, Bronze, and Gold Standard. All right, let's go ahead and get into the Dark Galaxy palette. This is what it looks like, and as far as I know, there's only 1 repeat shade in here. However, I do have comparisons at the end. The repeat shade in this one is Smoked Amethyst, this one right here. For the swatches, we have Cosmic, Venomous Void, Saturnalia, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, Smoked Amethyst, Odyssey, and Bronze Nebula. All right, you guys, now I'm going to go ahead and get into the 2 different eye looks. I'm going to start off with the Dark Galaxy palette, and then we will move on to the look that I am wearing today. Refer number 15 in the matte purple. I'm going to start off by tapping this on the very outer corner. Slowly working it into the crease. This has a lot of pigmentation, so you do want to take your time with this and don't try to go blending it out all the way right away. going to very slowly start blending this upward. Esom W21 in the pinky red metallic. I am going to place this on the outer portion of the eye, bringing it towards the center. Using the same brush, but I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to grab the very first shade in the palette, placing this on the front portion of the eye, packing it on the inner corner area, then blending it over the last shade we laid down. Back in with the original shade on the Sonia G Soft Shader. I've got the color right on the tip of the brush, and I just wanted to define my crease just a little bit. So I'm placing this color right into the crease just to add a little bit more depth, and then I'll lightly go in and blend it out. Wayne Goss number 5 and the darkest purple. I'm going to start this right on the outer portion of the lower lash line, just blending it out. Adding just a little bit of that to the top lash line. Same portion though, just on the outer half. I'm not going to use too much. I just want to add a little bit of shadowing right at my lashes. Refer number 3, middle shade, bottom row. I am placing this right on the front portion of the lower lash line. Nabla Lash Line Smudger and the gold. I'm going to place this right on the inner corner. Reaching outside the palette, I'm going to grab MAC Blanc Type on a MAC 252. And I'm just going to highlight the brow arch and clean up the edge of the purple shadow. After I get that done, that will complete this eye look. Wayne Goss number 17, and I'm going to go in with Electron. I'm going to start by taking this into the crease, back and forth windshield wiper motions, making sure to get it all the way to the outer and the inner corner. And then I'm going to start blending it upward. I'm going to use the same brush, same color, and just kind of place this on the lid. I'm going to leave a little bit of room right on this inner corner, making sure to coat the rest of the lid. And hopefully you guys can see the shift in this. It's really beautiful. In the mirror, I can see the shift, like the blue and the purple, but I don't know if it's catching on camera yet. I think that if you use this wet, it would be a little bit more intense, but I really like the way that this looks dry. Galactic Gold on a MAC 242. I'm going to place this right at the brow arch and then lightly blend it outward. So I'm still using that same shade. I'm taking it right on the inner corner and blending it into the purple. Refer 01 and Violet Void. I'm going to try and just take a little bit of this. I don't want to add too much, but I just want to add a little bit of depth right on this outer corner. So I'm going back and forth because I know this shade is really pigmented. I don't want to make this look go overboard. So I'm just kind of going back and forth, wiggling the brush like placing it down and then just kind of wiggling it. Lightly gonna press upward just on the outer portion. I'm not even bringing it into the crease or anything, just the outer corner. Refer 14 back in with Electron. I'm going to take this all along the lower lash line. And then I think this is going to complete it. I don't want to really add anything else and do overkill. If you wanted to make it a little bit more dramatic, you could add the purple right down here to make it a little deeper. You could add a little bit more of the gold right on the inner corner, but honestly, I just want this to be a smoky eye, but just a little bit less dramatic. I really like the way that this looks all by itself. To finish off this look, you guys know the drill: Milk Boss liner and then just mascara. Before I get into my thoughts on the two palettes that I have, I want to talk about the one that I don't have and how mad I am. And the reason why I am as angry as I am is because I feel like things just keep happening and keep happening and keep happening. I remember when I ordered my lipsticks from Pat McGrath on Black Friday. You know, I expect there to be holiday shipping delays, but I just got my lipsticks. Literally just got them. So I feel like, you know, that was a big mishap. And then with this release, she released these on 3 separate days, which is irritating in of itself because you have to sit there and as a YouTuber, you really have to try and be on top of things. She released one a day early on her Instagram page, which I ended up getting the day after the next one that was released the next day on her website. And then on the 26th, she released the Decadence palette. So that was just a huge deal, and it took forever for my stuff to ship. And from what I understand, this has been across the board with everybody, with the lipsticks, with the palettes, just everything in general. I've had people message me saying, hey, have you gotten such and such yet? And I'm like, no. And then I've had people even telling me that they've gotten their lipsticks in and they have been broken, or, you know, they're not even rolling up. Several things. So I think that there is something that needs to be done in order for Pat to kind of get back on track. Your products are amazing, but customer service, I have reached out. I have not heard anything back. You know, now I've got my palettes and got my lipsticks, everything's in order. So it's kind of like whatever. But with the Decadence palette, I'm upset about this because I set so many alarms. For the 26th, there were so many things that were coming out. I knew I wanted to get all the Fenty little palettes, so that actually released at 11 o'clock my time. It's I'm Central. It's like a few minutes after 11 o'clock. Got all of those. I was like, good. I stayed up until 2 a.m. and then I set an alarm from, it goes like this. This is how I work. I know that a lot of times with releases, they'll either release exactly on time, 5 minutes before, around 5 minutes after, 10 minutes after. I set an alarm at 4, so 3:55, 4, 4:05, 4:10, because I know that I will like doze back off. And I did that at 5, I did that at 6, 7, and then of course the palette released, I think a couple minutes after 7, I got the email. I click the email and it will not allow me to add to cart. It says add to cart. I'm there right whenever it opens up, and I tried for an hour. I tried from my laptop, I tried from my phone, I tried from my other phone, I tried from my iPad, and it just would not work. And I have emailed customer service and I have not gotten anything back. But then I'm seeing other people getting, you know, responses back like, oh, I'm just going to send it to you. And I've seen other people saying that their orders have gotten canceled. And I think this is a big issue. On top of that, she is also releasing another palette. And if you don't know Alicia, Kinky Sweat, she has already gotten this palette, and I'm so jealous. Alicia, just send it over to me. I'll send it right back. So this is another thing that's going to be coming out, and it was accidentally released. And it's just, I don't know what's going on, but it's making my nerves like be shot, you know what I mean? Especially seeing as this is my job. I don't think that customer service, shipping, and everything is on point right now. I do have a little bit of a tiff with these palettes. They are amazing quality. You can't ask for anything better. I am not going to sit here and tell you that these aren't good, because these are so good. And I actually think that I like the palette that has more of the repeat shades than I do the other one, but I still like them both. So here's the thing. I don't feel like, especially for a collaboration like this, that you should have any repeat shades. I know that she just did the Divine Rose, and that palette had repeat shades. And I know she got a lot of criticism for it with that, so I feel like she should not be doing that. Your price range is too high. There's too many people that collect your palettes. Like, I have almost all of them, with the exception of like one. That's the little mini kit. I just didn't want to keep that one. But I have all of the Mothership palettes. I have all of the mini Mothership palettes. I have the little quads. I have everything. I have several singles as well. I do not think that it is an appropriate time to be doing repeats. I just don't think it is. That's just my personal opinion. So with this palette, you are getting 3 repeat shades, like I mentioned. This one right here, the Bronze Temptation palette. And I actually have to say that the shade is a little bit better. Corruption is a little bit better in this one than it is in here. Still like it in here, but even in the swatches, which I will go ahead and show you guys right now, you can see that the Bronze Seduction palette is definitely a little bit more intense, and it has just a little bit more of that duochrome shift than what it does in this palette. Bronze as well as Gold Standard. Gold Standard you can find in the singles as well as in the Decadence palette, and you can find both of those 2 shades that I just mentioned always dropping in the Metamorphosis palette. I'm let down by that. While that is a big downside for me, because I don't want to have that many repeats, especially in a 6-pan palette, half of the palette I already have. I truly, truly love the 3 new shades. I have to say, she does gold so often. Like, how many golds can you possibly have? But this one right here is a little softer, and it has like this just really pretty sparkle to it. I feel like this is one of my favorite non-special, when I mean special, you guys know the larger Mothership palettes have those special shades in them. This is one of my favorite golds that she has done. I think it's beautiful, and I absolutely love this. This swatch does not do it justice. I feel like on the eyes it looks so much prettier, and then this color works out really well as well. So these 3 shades for me are enough to get the palette, because I think that they are so gorgeous. And then if you don't have the other colors, I think that this one is really well done. I don't think that you have to reach outside of this in order to create a look if you're comfortable with an all shimmer eye. This is all I have on my eyes today, obviously, but if you wanted to, all you would have to do is just grab one single shade, like Max Saddle. You could reach for something from Viseart, anything you wanted to do. But I can use this palette all by itself. I don't mind an all shimmer eye. And now getting into the other one. I just keep forgetting Dark Galaxy. I just want to call it the red palette. It's just the red palette. This one is really, really pretty. And like I mentioned, this is the only shade that is a repeat. I felt like I had seen this one somewhere before, but I can't place it. And now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like it might be Nabla. It might be the new Dreamy 2. I think that some of these colors are reminding me of that palette, so that's something to consider. Actually, let me get off my butt and go get it. So there you have it, and it is this palette that I'm thinking of, because Hidden Place right down here I think is what I was thinking of with this one. So let me swatch those 2. I think I like actually Hidden Place a little bit better. This one is Hidden Place from the Nabla palette, and then the Pat McGrath palette right beside it. So that is definitely what I was thinking of. I was trying to sit there. I was like, I know I've seen a shade like this before, but I can't figure it out. And it is from the Dreamy 2 palette. Back to some comparisons. While this palette does not have duplicate shades other than Smoked Amethyst, I do feel like you can get several of these to be quite comparable to other shades in other palettes. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys this little clip right here showing you the comparisons, and I just write down the name of the palette instead of the name of the shadow because I think it's easier to know the name of the palette. But you guys can see that there are shades that are quite similar, not exactly the same though. This shade right here is not quite the same as the other. I do prefer this one. And then this red, I swatched it up against the red in the Mothership 5 palette. Now, when you look at them on the arm, you can kind of see that they are similar. However, they have subtle nuances that are different whenever you're looking at them. So this one right here has like a sparkle to it, and it's just a little bit more, has a little bit more dimension, where the other one is a little bit more rich and smooth. And then this shade right here is surprisingly similar to the one in the Mothership palette. I was so shocked about how similar it was, because in the palette it looks like it's going to be a lot more pink and a lot more opaque, but really this is quite comparable to the special shade in the Mothership 3 palette. I couldn't believe how similar they really were. And then again with the golds, you're gonna find something similar as well. So if I can gather my final thoughts, it's that this palette is technically more special in the way that it doesn't have a bunch of repeat shades in it. It just has one. However, if you have all of the palettes, I think that you don't necessarily need it. This one, half of the palette are shades that she's done before, but there's just something that I really appreciate about the way that this one was put together. There's something that I really appreciate about the 3 shades that are new. I just think that they are so, so pretty. So if I was going to pick a favorite, it's still going to be the one that has the 3. And I hate that. I hate that. I really wish that she hadn't have done that. That's the only true complaint I have about the actual palettes, not about shipping or anything like that, is that there's so many duplicates. Other than that, these are beautiful palettes. They perform really, really well. They're gorgeous. They're Pat McGrath. She truly knows how to make an amazing eyeshadow formula, and for that, I can't knock her. I wanted to be as informative as I possibly could, swatch the things that I felt were the closest to it so that you guys can make an informed decision. I don't know if these are going to be re-released or how anything's going to go, but if you're interested in these, let me know. If you picked them up, let me know. Let me know what your experiences have been, and if you enjoyed the eye looks, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.